Cool. That face is definitely going in the podcast, though. That face you just pulled is 100% going in the podcast.
Honestly, I didn't see it, so you crack on, my friend.
We're probably just going to chuck it in and start the podcast now. But hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of the Grumpy Gaming Weekend podcast on the 7th? Yeah, 7th of September. I did. I had it prepped, and then I forgot, and then I had to check sneakily real quick over there. But it will be the 7th of September, because I've been really good at editing it on Friday night and uploading on Saturday the last few weeks. So there we go. Good start to the podcast. How are you all doing? I say how are you all doing? It's just me and you, and I know how I am. So how are you? How are you doing?
Yeah, I've got a hangover.
Have you?
To be fair, by this point, because it's now later in the day, I'm not too bad, but I did this morning. I earned it though, so
you earned it. You earned that.
I earned that hangover. It wasn't free.
This is why we are the most shocking podcast on the internet. We apparently advocate binge drinking.
35 seconds in, it's just like I've been drinking and what?
I've seen some stuff and done some things, man. But no, apparently, yeah. Just why not at this point? Why not just say whatever we feel like?
We're not advertiser friendly. Who cares?
Apparently so. Although I was watching,
if anyone copyright strikes us, they can't run ads on it anyway.
I was watching a video today from a very well-known YouTube channel. A very well-known person, female, moved to that channel recently. She's called Alana Pierce. I'm trying to think of what the channel is. I can't think of what it's called. Is it Funhouse?
Funhouse.
Yeah, but the news one, the Funhouse news one.
Inside Gaming.
Inside Gaming, thank you. I definitely watched a video on Inside Gaming today that had several ads in it because I had to click them all off. And they said, go suck a dick live on their video. So if they can say go suck a dick, I can say go suck a dick.
But you're not allowed to. So they actually said about this in a video, like you can't do it in the first little chunk.
God damn it. I just did it in the first chunk.
So now we've said go suck a dick like 4 times.
We have, yeah.
Right,
we have to bleep you again. I got Emery commented on last week.
You've said it more than I have.
Yeah, I'm just gonna bleep you on purpose now and leave mine in just because I can. Yeah, Emery commented on last week's podcast episode being like, did you just bleep Elliott? And I'm like, yeah, I did. I'll do it again. I'll do it again if I have to. Like
I went and specifically found the bit and I ripped it from the YouTube video because I was like, that's gonna come in useful sometime.
Yeah. I mean, for anybody who hasn't watched last week's episode, go watch it. There was a word that it was too much for even me. I was like, we can't leave that in the podcast.
It was a compound noun.
it was something. It was definitely something. But yeah, no, I mean, I really at this point I don't get adverts on my videos. I don't really care. Although I do care about, like, you know, I want to do YouTube properly. I want to have my channel be in some kind of good standing, but at the same time, I'm not averse to saying the F word or apparently some other words as well. I'm still on the fence about, going to bleep out this week. Anyway, moving on before we get into some weird debate about YouTube's weird policies.
Before we move on, my mum rang me today because it's her birthday next week and I'm seeing her tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Elliott's mum.
And happy birthday, mum, for Tuesday. And she rang me earlier and she goes, oh, I tuned into your stream. And I was like, oh no. She goes, you swear a lot when you're streaming. I was just like, oh, so I'm playing South Park.
So yeah, what she means is when you're not there, when she's not there, you swear a lot. So you tone it down to your mum, don't you?
To be fair, I do tone it down, but I do swear around my mum.
It's true. I mean, we're British. We can't swear in front of our mothers. Like, what would they think of us? They would think we were some sort of...
When you're like 14, 15, you'd swear with your friends and be like, yeah, I said an S word. And then like when you're 18, 19, you like swear around friends, but you're polite in front of your mum. I'm 28. If I want to swear in front of my mum, it's happening. Like,
fair. I mean, my dad's
sorry,
from London.
Mum.
My dad's from London. He swears like a trooper. It's always been a thing. Which is probably why I also swear like a trooper. But anyway, moving on, we're going to talk about what games we've been playing. There's not really a major lot of news today, so we're going to sort of talk about a few things that we've prepped, a couple of topics that we've prepped. But before we get onto those topics, what have you been playing this week? What have you been doing? What have you been up to? And why have I missed it?
On Monday, I started my Dark Souls playthrough, which also means for the next 3 or 4 weeks of the podcast,
weeks.
What you've been playing this week?
Months.
It wasn't. The Sekiro wasn't that.
How
bad.
long was Bloodborne? Like 10 episodes?
I don't know. I'd have to check. But Bloodborne, like the first week, I did it 4 straight days, and then I did it like once a week. So I was like, oh, I can't deal with this. We're going into this with. I have a stream schedule. I'm sticking to it. I've augmented it now. I think I'm gonna start doing a Thursday stream every week, because I did one this week. The week before, I think I did a Tuesday one that was extra. But I played Stardew Valley, and it was like a really kind of like nice little, like we got chat going quite well, and we were all like having a bit of just like fun and games whilst I played Stardew, which is like I've played the game inside out, back to front, all sorts.
Yeah.
So like I know the game pretty well, and it's not exactly like very like high octane. So it was like just quite a nice little day. So I was like, I might just start putting some Thursdays in, and just do like a little bit of Stardew Valley.
Why not?
So I did Dark Souls Monday, Wednesday, Stardew Valley Thursday, and then on Friday, because I knew that Dark Souls was going to be basically just punching my face to death, I was like, I'm going to play South Park Fractured But Whole, because I need a game that's like fun and a little just like mental. And it was a lot of fun. It was very mental. It also makes me worried that I'm going to get banned from Twitch. So next week, I'll be streaming Dark Souls on Mixer Monday and Wednesday.
No, people have played South Park. You're fine. Like,
I mean, there's a few moments where like you walk into the police station and they literally like there's a sentence and it's just got like 4 racial slurs in it, and I was just like,
yeah, but
what
like,
are we doing?
I feel like the game, you know, the game is borderline, right? But people tuning into the game know that game is what it's about. Like, if you've heard of South Park, you know it's going to be crude humor.
One of my viewers had never watched South Park.
Oh dear.
He was just like, what is happening? And I was like, oh, like it's just South Park. I was like, have you not played the first game? And he was like, I've heard of South Park, but I've heard of the TV series, but I never watched it. And I was just like, oh, you're in for a day.
I almost feel like South Park is one of the victims of the current climate, though. Whereas like 10 years ago, South Park was just hilarious, and now everyone's like, can't make those jokes. I mean, you totally can.
They're still doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
the creators from South Park are very much still making the same kind of jokes. Though they caught a load of flack recently, I think it was because they basically made a joke about like gamers being alt-right, and loads of alt-right gamers got all shirty about it. And then like,
I mean, let's keep the politics out of the show. But yeah, I mean, you got to remember that pretty much 99% of what Matt and Trey say are jokes. Like, they are comedians. Yeah, that's what they do. You know, like,
definitely. That's the whole point, is jokes.
Yeah, that's the whole. And people, I feel like there are a large portion of people on the internet, Twitter, who just can't handle jokes anymore. You know, it's like everything has to be offensive.
IMDb critics. You seen the Dave Chappelle reviews?
Oh God, you know what? I was in my head. I was thinking Dave Chappelle, and I was like, no, let's
20-something% critic review, 99% audience review.
Yeah, like, it goes to show. It goes to show. I mean, look, we're not a political show. We're not going to get onto either side of the political debate.
Largely because we mostly don't care.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. We
just don't be an ass to people.
Yeah, exactly. Just if you don't like it, don't watch. That's always my comeback to this answer. Is if you don't like Dave Chappelle, don't watch. If you don't like South Park, don't watch. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to just not watch something. Like, I don't understand. There is so many games to play these days. There are so many things on Netflix to watch. Like, why would you complain about something you don't like when you could literally just flick over to something that you do? I don't understand it. Well, I do understand.
Surely you know, if you click on it, you're not going to click on it and go like, oh, Dave Chappelle, I watched all his old stuff. I wonder what he's doing now, because it's the same thing as he's always been doing. Like,
yeah, that's his style of humor, and for some people really enjoy that, and so he's going to continue to make it. And I feel like a lot of comedians at the moment who are getting a lot of flack, just like everybody else is, they're getting flack from these groups of people who can't seem to handle jokes, are fighting back against it. You know, they're like, well, if you're going to come after me and say I can't say shit, I'm going to say it twice as much, and that's... might sound petty, but that's how the world works, folks. Anyway, moving on, because it's definitely a gaming podcast and not a politics.
What have you been playing this week, Grumps?
I've been playing all sorts. I've been still slowly on the off stream anyway. I've been on the WoW Classic grind. I canned my Warlock and decided to start leveling our Warrior, which I was going to do anyway at some point, but I decided to do it now because my server has a severe lack of tanks, which has always been a problem in WoW. There's always not enough tanks. So I decided to level a Warrior, and going from Warlock, which is one of the easiest / best classes to level with, to a Prot Warrior, which is pretty much the worst class to level with, has been an experience. However, I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the challenge, and I am thoroughly addicted again to World of Warcraft, which I never thought would happen, because the last 5 or 6 years of me playing this game has been a meh. You know, and now for me to be like, oh my God, I can't wait to get home and play World of Warcraft. Like, it's such a good feeling. And I know you and I disagree on this one. You really don't like it, and which you
It's
said
not
you
like
would.
really, like, it's not for me. Like,
It's
I've said
not for everybody.
before, I'm happy that people are enjoying it. I said it before it came out. Like, I still think that a lot of it is like a novelty thing.
Well, there's
Like,
absolutely an element of nostalgia for me.
I am happy for people to enjoy nostalgia and novelty.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Which is what remasters are sold on, nostalgia. So
exactly. Speaking of remasters, Final Fantasy VIII remaster looks good.
I mean,
well, they updated the character sprites. The backgrounds are still the same. I have the Steam one where you can update the sprites with a mod.
Yeah.
So I feel like I have no need to buy the remaster.
I'm the same. I already own Final Fantasy VIII on Steam. I haven't got around to finishing it yet, but I finished the original on PlayStation. I just haven't finished the Steam version. But I don't feel the need to rebuy it again. Maybe on the Switch. Because any game is cool on the Switch.
I'm still playing 9 on the Switch.
Oh yeah, finished
it. I mean, it's one of those, because with the Switch for me, it's like, if I know I'm going to take a coach somewhere, or like I'm taking the train tomorrow to see my mum, I will take the Switch on the train and I'll play Final Fantasy with my headphones plugged in. And that's what I use my Switch for. I don't generally sit and have it on like a screen, which is why the Nintendo Switch Lite, if that had been out, I definitely would have got that. Because for £100 less, not having the docking and the Joy-Cons and stuff, it would have been fine.
And it comes in GGWP yellow, which, why would you not buy it in that,
You should definitely buy that and then spray paint GGWP on it.
100%.
Don't spray paint your
Switches. No, don't do that.
Please don't.
I mean, you can if you do it properly and just don't get it in any of the ports or anything.
Didn't they make it like you can't really stick stickers to it and stuff like that? There's supposed to be like some special thing on it because they didn't want people doing like the stickers that basically changes the look of the thing. But then one of the companies that made them got hold of a Nintendo and were like, how can we stick stuff to it? Because we still want to do it. And Nintendo told them how. So I was like, why do it in the first place?
Well, maybe they're doing it so only like official Nintendo partners. This is the first time I've heard of it, but maybe it's like only so official Nintendo partners can make products for their Switches.
Wait, Nintendo being massively controlling with things like content creation and stuff to do with their consoles?
That would never happen.
Unheard of.
That would never happen, would it? That was,
Did they make it so a Switch can only be charged with certain charges to do with like weird bullshittery? No. No,
I mean,
I refuse to believe it.
They're almost as bad as Apple on that one. Like, Jesus. But yeah, so we played Mario Classic. I've been really enjoying that off stream. Haven't really played it on stream. I played it on stream once on the day that it launched. I haven't played it again. Mainly just because I haven't had time to fit a lot of streams in recently. I've also been playing the original Pokemon Red in my spare time also on my Nintendo DS because Pokemon Red in black and white. Oh my god, I forgot how fun that game was.
Yeah, you said recently to me that you were like, oh, just started playing Pokemon Red again. I was like, what? Why don't you play like Leaf Green or Fire Red, which is the remake?
Well, I plan on going through like all the generations that I've already played. Like I want to do Red, Blue, one of them anyway, Silver, Gold, up to like Ruby, Sapphire. Yeah, Ruby and Sapphire I think was where I stopped. And I think I want to play all those again. But like most of them are available on the 3DS XL or the 3DS and the 2DS. You can download them on them.
Oh yeah, on their store they brought them out. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so I bought one. You can see it just there. I bought a 2DS XL because I really don't care about 3D. So I bought a 2DS XL just so I could play Pokemon essentially. But it's really fun. It's I forgot how like different the Pokemon in the original games looked. Like some of the Pokemon look radically different to what they look like now.
I've seen
Geodude has hair. Like I don't understand it. He has like a little quiff, like a little curly quiff thing on his head. Made out of rock still, but like, yeah, a lot of the Pokemon look really different in Pokemon Red and Blue, especially considering that I played Pokemon Let's Go Eevee.
Oh, he's got like little lumpy boys on his head.
Yeah. So especially because I played like Let's Go Eevee not that long ago, which was a remaster of Yellow, essentially. I forgot how different it was, but it's fun. It's still it's Pokemon. It is what it is. But it's also getting me really excited for Sword and Shield, which is great. So we're playing that. What have I been playing on stream? I mean, we're not going to talk about it yet.
You played Blair Witch.
Oh god, don't get me started. Yeah, we're going to talk about Man of Medan as an actual topic on the podcast today because we've got some stuff we want to talk about it. But yeah, I did. I played Blair Witch last night. Was it last night?
Yes.
Yeah, it was last night. I played.
I was at work.
Yeah, I attempted to play Blair Witch and it crashed 3 times within an hour, but I don't actually know if that's my PC or if it was the game because my PC was being weird this morning too. So I don't know if it's my PC that was crashing. However, even without the crashes, I played about an hour of the game, and I have opinions. It's very janky. The game is very janky. I had really bad screen tearing, so bad that I actually thought it was an effect they added onto the game to make it look like an old style camera. And JP was like, is that like actual screen tearing? And I was like, no, it's got to be an effect, right? We turned VSync on and it stopped. And I was like, no way. I was like, that was actual screen tearing. It was so bad. So there was a screen tearing, and then the controls are weird. There's no key bindings. It's 2019. This is a game being released on PC, and there are no goddamn key bindings, which for me is like, I feel like if I ever start doing game reviews, there's going to be a sin list. There's going to be like a list of things that are not acceptable. One will be loot boxes, and one will be having no key bindings. That is an unacceptable thing to have on a PC game. Now, if this was a port, I could maybe forgive it, but it's not. It's a brand new game. It's just released. So have some goddamn key bindings, please. If there are key bindings, I could not find them, and chat could not figure out either. So I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that one.
The true troubleshoot the Twitch chat.
Oh yeah, I like the Twitch chat troubleshooting. It's very useful at times. There's always somebody that knows
all
pretty
of them
much
saying
anything
different
you
things. They're on a delay, so it's like, yeah, 2 down from there, and you can by that point.
My Twitch chat is usually like really helpful when it comes to stuff like that. There's usually somebody that knows whatever I need to know.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, like the game is interesting. The game starts off with you're in a car and it tells you to answer your phone. And I specifically didn't answer my phone because I advocate safe driving. So I probably missed some story there. And then there seems to be a lot of like mechanics that would just maybe go like, why? Like you have a phone, and you can pull out the phone and you can do things like call people. And I did that, and I got a missed call. So I called the person back, and then had the most boring dialogue I've ever had in a game ever. It was literally like, how you doing? I'm all right. I'm in a forest searching for some kid. Okay, that sounds like fun. It was honestly that level of dialogue.
I might have to find a stream of this or watch your VOD.
You can just watch my VOD, honestly. But it was literally just like, I was like, why? And then the phone you have is like an old, it's like, looks like an old Nokia 3310 or 3330, and it does have Snake on it. So that was definitely a plus.
Wait, you can play Snake on the phone?
Yeah, you can 100. They call it like Cobra something.
That is pretty good.
But yeah, it's Snake, and there's another game that I didn't play as well. But like, there's all these little mechanics, and I'm you have like an item wheel and all this stuff, and I'm honestly just kind of like, I wish that they didn't have them in. They seem so superfluous, and they seem so much, they're like busy work, and I'm just like, why? Do you know what I mean? Like, just what's wrong with just having F for flashlight or whatever? Like, why do I have to go into an item wheel and scroll to get a flashlight and all that crap? But that's just a personal preference. It's not going to bother everybody, but it bothered me. And then I finally started to get some sort of see where the game was going to go. You have a dog. The dog is an integral mechanic, and it even says that to you, that the dog will react differently depending on your choices. You can pet the dog, you can reprimand the dog, you can tell the dog to go and look for stuff. And honestly, the first area, like the very first area where you have free reign, it doesn't tell you anywhere where to go. You have no idea where to go, so you have to rely on the dog to like tell you where to go, which is a good thing because it's an interesting mechanic. But at the same time, if you're not nearby anything, the dog's just like, I don't know. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, I don't know either. So you just end up wandering around, which I guess is part of the like the story and the lore, and I get it. But then we finally,
clearly the devs played Fable 2, which is the perfect dog mechanic game.
Yeah, possibly. And then we finally got to some ravine. The dog ran off, and it started to introduce some sanity mechanics almost. And if you spend too long away from the dog, you will start to just essentially just shut down. Everything starts to go blurry and dark, and you start to have essentially a panic attack. And I believe you can fail if you stay too far away from the dog for too long.
So it's an emotional support dog.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. But it
Does
was
it have like one of the little jackets?
I don't think he did. He's got a collar. That's about it.
Well,
but
yeah,
that was
collar. You're a responsible dog owner.
of course. But that was it. That was as far as I got to play. Unfortunately, I got about an hour in, and my third crash, I was just like, I'm done. We'll try again another day. So again, pinch of salt. I think it may have been my PC that was the problem. We're going to try and stream it again later on in the week. So if you want to see me play Blair Witch, check out the Twitch channel. But yeah, that was it. But we played a game on stream together, didn't we? We played a game.
We may have dabbled.
We may have dabbled
in the game.
We did a little co-stream, and we played Man of Medan. And I want to talk about this one because not only do I want to talk about it because we played it and we enjoyed it, but I want to talk about it because I feel like not really many people are talking about this game at all, and I feel like a lot of people, it has mixed reviews on Steam. The game has mixed reviews on Steam, and I think it's kind of unfair that it's got mixed reviews, but the game also does have some, like, I don't want to say drawbacks, but it has some kind of, okay, the best way to describe it, Man of Medan, it's an amazing game, but like everything about this game is great, but we want to talk about that. So, if you haven't heard of Man of Medan, it is made by the same guys who made Until Dawn, which we have both played. Until Dawn was basically it was a cheesy horror movie turned into a video game. That's the best way to describe Until Dawn. It was one of those cheesy teen slasher films turned into a horror movie. You make choices, and those choices affect whether the characters live or die. And at the end of the game, you have some people alive or some people dead or whatever. Like that's the whole point of Until Dawn. But Until Dawn was pretty good. I think it was received very well. Most people enjoyed it. I think it was PlayStation exclusive, and great. So when I saw that Man of Medan, I actually saw this originally at EGX last year, and it looked really interesting. I was like, oh, cool. Well, I liked Until Dawn, so I'm probably going to like this. So the game came out, and I bought it, and I got ready to stream it, and I was like, wait, multiplayer? And I didn't even know that. I didn't even know. Like, I don't know.
The day before, it was like Wednesday, I think.
Yeah,
and we were you were gonna play it Thursday.
Yeah,
and you were just like,
oh yeah, we delayed the stream.
Multiplayer. Do you wanna play? And I was like, because I don't play horror games, and I say it 100 times all over the place. I don't play horror games because I'm a giant little sissy girl.
Which is interesting because
I get spooked.
We both went into it. Me as a massive horror game fan. I love horror games. I've played them since I was a teenager. And you, somebody who's not a horror game fan, and we both went into it and we both enjoyed it, which is another sort of positive of the game. But we'll get to that. So,
but
so
don't play a keyboard and mouse because the quick time events.
Yeah, like come on, talk about them. Talk about how janky they are.
A lot of the quick time is like if you're stepping over things on the controller, it goes like circle, square, circle, square. And on the keyboard, it goes AD, which is like, oh, that's just left and right on the thing.
Yeah, they use WASD for quick time events.
But when you see a WASD letter, my head at least, and I know you said this as well, like my head doesn't go like, oh, I have to like move forward. I will press W. My head goes like forward.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I am pressing the W key, and you see like the quick time events come up, and it's just
because
like, oh, AD. And I'm like, which ones? I had to keep looking and then press buttons, and then I die. I'm
sure every PC gamer, like, let me know in the comments if you disagree with me, but pretty much every PC gamer has their left hand resting on WASD. Like, that's where you keep your hand. So you never need to like look or think about the order of them. And so for me, especially like A and S and D, I kept getting them confused. Like W wasn't so bad, but like the other three, I kept getting them confused because I'm like, I don't remember where they are. I just know I go back, forward, left and right. But the game essentially is the same premise as Until Dawn. It is a story-based, absolutely story-based game where your decisions matter and they will affect the story and the outcome of the game. But this time it's co-op, kind of. And so, by the way, we're going to talk about this in two sections. We're going to talk about a spoiler-free version, and then we're going to talk about some spoilers. And I will, if I remember, hopefully I'll throw up like a spoiler tag. I will try. I will throw up like a spoiler tag, and we'll throw it down when it's done. But essentially, we're going to talk about. We can't really talk about why the game is potentially one of the best games I played this year, but also not if we don't use the spoiler. So,
yeah.
Bear that in mind.
It's going to be a hard conversation to have without being like, okay, here are some stuff that is important.
100%. So what we will do is we will definitely have the topic bar down here. So if you don't want any spoilers of the game, maybe skip ahead to the video till we change the topic and go to the next topic. But if you're okay with spoilers, and I will let you know when I start the spoilers, but if you're okay with it, stick around because this game needs to be talked about. So co-op story adventure. When you start the game, there are two modes, by the way. There is a two-player mode, which is just a story mode two-player, and then there is a movie night mode, I think they call it, where essentially you pass the controller. And the way that this one works is there are a party or a cast member or whatever you want to call it, a group of people, and you both flick between the characters at different times. And there you both get to choose a character, and you get one viewpoint and I get another viewpoint, and we switch characters, and we kind of share characters as well. Like sometimes I play a character and then you switch and you play.
That was one of the things I found really weird with it, was the fact that like so you pick which one of the original characters you want to be, and then later on there's like a different group, and like you would be like the last right at the start. Who were the first two we started as? They were brothers. I was the older brother, you were the young. No, other way around. You were the older, I was the younger.
Brothers. Were they brothers? I think
they were brothers. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Were they? Anyway, yeah, maybe they were.
But like, so I was the younger one, you were the older one, and then like later on, so we switched to other characters, and then we switched back to them, and we were the other way around. And I was just like, but so there was times where I was trying to make this one guy really hit on someone, and then when you were playing as him, you were like, well, I'm not going to do that. And I was like,
no, it was There was another thing. There's like a couple, two of the characters like in a sort of relationship, and I know that every time I was like playing as the dude, I was making all the like right decisions, and every time you played as him, you were like completely wrecking it and making them fall out, which was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But the premise of this one is that you are kind of working together, I guess. Although you kind of don't have to. You can screw each other over almost, but you are both determining where the story is going to go. And just like in Until Dawn, there are QuickTime events, and if you fail those QuickTime events, that could lead to negative consequences. And in fact, failing QuickTime events can lead to character death. And so in this one, you have this real weird dynamic where, like, if you have a favorite character, I might accidentally get them killed, you know, or like whatever. There's this like freedom of choice kind of thing, but then we're both making choices. And I feel like to get this game to get everybody alive is going to be very difficult if you're playing 2-player, because you're going to have to try and like work together the best you can. And when we get into the spoilers in a few moments, working together in this game is not easy. And there's a big reason why working together is not easy. And we figured this stuff out because we were talking over Discord. And I feel like if you're not playing this game over Discord, it's going to be tough. So,
I feel like they could have put in a warning being like, yeah, I would advise not using voice comms whilst playing this game.
Well, I was gonna make a standalone YouTube video on this whole topic because I just haven't had time to get around to it. But because I think there's discussion worthy stuff here. So with the game, we played it over Discord and we could communicate. And there is this moment where I figured something out and I was like, oh shit. And we'll come to that. But when I figured that out and I told you about it, we started playing the game very, very differently. But the game is kind of getting mixed reviews at the moment, and in fact it is still sat on Steam at mixed, and I actually think the game is really, really good. And I think the reason why the game is sitting at mixed reviews is that this game is absolutely designed to be played co-op. The mechanics of this game are designed for 2 people. And the game even tells you that. The game says don't play alone. Like one of the modes is called don't play alone. And when I read that, I thought that was them trying to be like, oh, haha, it's scary. You're going to need a friend because it's going to be so scary. But it's nothing to do with that. It is absolutely, they have designed this game to be co-op. They've given you the option to play single player, but it's not designed that way. And this is why I'm saying earlier that this game is amazing, but it's not going to be the same if you play by yourself. And that's something that I wish they'd almost like said more clearly. Like I wish a warning came up and being like, this game is designed for co-op, because they kind of hint at it when they say don't play it alone, but they don't actually come out and explicitly say, no, this game is designed for co-op. And playing it co-op is why I think this game is one of the best games I've played this year. And I don't say that lightly. You know me, I'm a harsh critic when it comes to this kind of things. But I do honestly think this is one of the most clever games and one of the most interesting games that I have played all year, especially when it comes to horror. So should we jump into the spoilers section of the game so we can talk about the interesting mechanics?
You're going to do like a...
Yeah, we'll do like a big spoiler time.
Do not enter.
Do not enter. This is your final warning.
Bring a friend into the spoiler zone.
Yeah. This is your final warning. If you don't want to be spoiled of Madame Medan, bearing in mind it is a very heavily story-driven game. We're about to ruin the basically the whole plot of the game.
And I was going to say, and also the fact that like the puzzle thing that we were saying about was noticed is kind of a big fucking deal.
Yeah. It is the main the main gimmick of this game is also the main storyline plot. So do not complain in the comments if you didn't want spoilers. I warned you. If you're stupid enough to stick around, that's your own problem. Right, spoiler time. So the whole game, when you are on the ship, the game is about a ghost ship essentially, and when you're on the ship there is this gas that was a chemical weapon essentially that accidentally leaked out, and this chemical weapon causes hallucinations, and because of that anybody on the ship is susceptible to these hallucinations. Now we figured out right in the prologue.
You figured out?
Well, I figured out right in the prologue. There was a section in the prologue where because the game is in real time, but obviously we're connecting two different viewpoints. We split up as characters, and I saw something and you saw something, and we were kind of describing what we were seeing. And I was like, I see a little ghost boy. And you were like, oh, I see like this horrible monster. I'm going to hide in the cupboard. And I was like, did you just say you were hiding in a cupboard? And you were like, yeah, why? I was like, because my ghost boy's just gone in the cupboard. Yeah. And you were like, right. And you were panicking because you saw this monster. I opened the cupboard and the little ghost boy was there, and I had the option to shoot it essentially. And I didn't shoot it because I was like, it's a little ghost boy. Why would I shoot it? And then you opened the cupboard.
And I was like, but there's a horrible zombie monster with a melted face and samurai hat and stuff like that. And I had a knife, so I stabbed it.
And that turned out to be me because you were hallucinating.
Bear in mind, you went, oh, the little ghost boy's gone in a cupboard. And you didn't go, do you reckon we're the monster and we're hallucinating or something? You just kind of went, ghost boy's gone in the cupboard. And you went a bit quiet and you were like, yeah. I'm going to go check in this cupboard. And I was like, a monster came onto the cupboard. And it's like, drag the aimer over a thing and you hit R2. And I was just like, eh.
Yeah. But in the heat of the moment, like, and that was the beauty of it. In the heat of that moment, I didn't really figure it out until you stabbed me. I was like, oh shit, that was me. And so we figured out the gimmick of this game right away. That essentially what we figured out is that what we're seeing isn't necessarily actually what's happening. And the fact that we were both seeing different things, because there was another moment before that where I was like, oh, I just saw a man walk past, and you were like, what man?
And shit run across the screen, and I didn't get anything.
Yeah. And so you were like, what man? And I was like, the man. And so we were like, very quickly we twigged like, shit, we're seeing different stuff. And so we went into the second act. That was the prologue, and then you go into like the main act, if you will. And so we went into the main act being like, right, remember, some of the shit we see isn't actually true. And as we pieced this game together, essentially what happens is there are no monsters in this game. As far as we know, there are no monsters in this game. Every monster included in this game is
the real monster was inside us all along.
Yeah. Well, there are antagonists. There are antagonists to the plot, but there are no actual monsters. And so we figured this out, and we said, okay, then remember, when you see a monster, it's probably not a monster, it's probably a person. And so because of that, we kind of played around that mechanic. I mean, there was one bit where I remember that I was the monster, and I was trying to calm you down. I was like saying, chill out, it's me, I'm the character.
Yeah.
And you were like
a horror pin-up girl nurse thing, and you chased me down a corridor and I was freaking out.
Yeah. But because we were over
and you were
Discord,
like, dude, I'm the horror monster. And I was like, you can't see it.
But the game does that a lot.
I was seeing you as a monster, but you weren't seeing me as a monster.
Yeah, but there were parts where I saw you as a monster, and you obviously didn't as well. The game does it to both players. Like, whatever character you pick at the beginning.
Well, because we reckon that we worked out what sets that off, which was quite... Well, I'm still not sure on that. I need to check it properly.
I don't think that's true. So we had a theory. Our theory, about halfway through, when we hadn't fully figured it out yet, our theory was that when you pick up weapons, that triggers the psychosis or the hallucinations. I don't think that's true. I think the game gives you weapons so you will fail. I think it's like, here's a knife, and then you're like, well, now I know.
Here's a big old wrench.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the weapons are pretty cool.
Yeah. So because we knew this though, like there were certain moments where we saved a character because I was over Discord with you going like, no, Elliott, don't stab it, it's me. And you were like, okay, I won't stab it then. And so if we hadn't have had that communication, I'm not sure that, well, the game would have definitely gone differently, you know, and I don't know how.
Oh yeah, you would have been getting hit with wrenches and shit all the time.
Exactly. And so I don't know if you play this game with a friend, but you don't communicate like over voice, like how do you, because there's no in-game communication whatsoever, right? So how do you... As far as I know, there wasn't. Anyway, I didn't see. Maybe there was. Maybe there was voice comms, but we didn't use it, obviously. So if you don't play over voice comms... I went through the settings
a lot looking for the subtitles, and there was nothing about voice comms in there.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know. I thought I saw maybe an icon. But anyway, regardless, if you're not using voice, then this game is going to be really hard, because if you figure out the gimmick, but your buddy doesn't figure out the gimmick, then you're going to have a lot of people die. So it's a weird one where I feel like part of me wishes we'd played it not on voice comms, but at the same time, we may never have realized if we didn't play it over voice comms, you know? And I know there are people that we did a multi-stream. There were people in the stream that were like, oh shit, like seeing it from both perspectives has blown my mind. Like, because you can see what I'm seeing and what you're seeing were two completely different things. So I don't know. It's a weird one. It's like, I have not played a game this clever in ages. I've not played a game that has... like having two people simultaneously see different things and have that be an integral part of the plot. But at the same...
it's a perfect game for like multi-Twitch streaming.
Yeah.
Like, so
100%.
for any viewers who have both streams next to each other,
Yeah.
like, and like no one in chat was like, "Oh, you guys are seeing different stuff."
Yeah.
Because like we had a fair whack of people who were like in both on a multi Twitch that we had set up. No one sat there and went, "Oh, are you aware that your screen showing things that one isn't?" No one said it. They were clearly just like, "I can't wait to see this."
Yeah. It was a very weird one, but I think this is the reason why I enjoyed this game so much. As soon as I figured that out and I was like, oh shit, like what we're seeing is different, the game became super interesting to me. And I'm going to be honest, the story it wasn't all that. Like, not actually that much. The story was
fine. There wasn't any, like, there wasn't much not compelling. There wasn't much, like, story drive. It was just like, oh, you're on a ship and you need to be not on a ship.
Yeah.
Like,
That was We're really trying to escape, essentially.
Which is crazy we had so much fun playing it. And that was really, exactly. Oh, we just need to not be on this ship anymore. And it was just like, cool.
I mean, since we're in the spoiler section, we might as well say it. You get some pirates chasing you and they want to ransom you off. And so they're the antagonists of the game. So there are parts where...
They do not last long.
No, they do not last long. Well, they're also affected by the gas. So they're kind of, so again... The whole point is that this game was super interesting and compelling, and I know for a fact that I want to play it through again and see how we can change the story. Just like Until Dawn, I did that game twice, just so I could see if I get a different ending. And I really want to do the same thing with this game. And the game was £25, so it's a fairly, it's a half price game essentially. It took us like 4 or 5 hours to do a playthrough.
We finished pretty much exactly. I think it was like 5 hours in because we were planning on doing a 5-hour stream.
Yeah.
And having played Until Dawn, we were like, okay, we're probably going to do 2 episodes of this because I think Until Dawn was about 10 hours.
Yeah.
But no, this was about the right length for a single stream playthrough.
Yeah.
100%. Like it was about the perfect for it. I think also it's a really good game for streaming. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, especially if you have both perspectives and stuff like we said.
Yeah.
It definitely it lends itself to it very well.
Yeah. It's also like one of those movies. When you have a movie where it has a twist at the end and you're like, oh shit, and you want to go back and rewatch the movie because now you have knowledge of the twist and you see things differently. It's like The Village or a movie like that, when you know the twist at the end. So you go back and watch it and you're like, oh shit, and you see the whole film in a different context. Like that game's going to be like this. And I'm super excited because this game is part of an anthology. It's part of the Dark Pictures anthology. So there are going to be more games in this series, even though they're going to be separate stories. They're going to be unrelated as far as we know. I'm really looking forward to the next ones, and I hope the next ones do similarly interesting things and have interesting mechanics. And for an entry in the series, if you will, this was a very strong one. Now,
I was going to say, I'm really interested to see, because I mean, they can't do the same thing again.
Yeah.
But obviously they have a plan in place. I'm really, really interested. And if it's co-op, I definitely want to stream it.
Oh,
again.
The world needs more co-op horror games, honestly. And I will admit the horror in this game is very weak. It's not scary at all. Again,
some of the Steam reviews, because I've got them up now, some of the negative ones, literally people saying oh, I really enjoyed Until Dawn. The game is quite different, but this one seems to focus on cheap jump scares.
It did.
Keep you on edge.
There really wasn't a lot of horror. And you're somebody who really doesn't like horror games, and you didn't seem to have a problem with it. I'm somebody who really enjoys horror games.
The tension and stuff wasn't that bad. It was you walk around a corner and then it was Murder Nurse or Zombie Samurai or whatever.
Yeah, there was no tension.
Ooh. I mean, the Twitch alerts got me more often than the game got me.
Yeah, same. We were both running scary alerts.
I was like, what's a scary alert that would definitely work? And I was like, we've got a tension buildy one that's a big crescendo. And then I put a gunshot one in. And that was an awful idea.
Oh, the things we do for money. But no, so the horror was super weak, but I didn't care. I was really intrigued by the story and I enjoyed every minute of it. Now, there was a couple of parts of the game that I thought were a little slow, although, you were still looking around the environment for stuff. There was still, dialogue options to be had. There was one thing that was a little bit annoying, but I don't know how they would get through it. And it's essentially, there are certain things that one of the players can do that progresses the story by maybe triggering a cutscene or something like that, or ending a dialogue early. And there was times where I was in the middle of a dialogue and you did something that ended my dialogue, or I did it to you. And that was a little annoying.
Or you'd be checking an item that you found, and then it's just you're in this other room now.
Yeah, because I walked through a room by accident or something,
It's just shit.
That was a little annoying, but at the same time, remember remember that the game is a co-op game in real time from two perspectives. You know, it is almost like two games running simultaneously, if you will. So I don't really know a way to get around that. The only kind of way they could have got around that, in my opinion, would have been to like have a, like, I don't know, like maybe if there were certain doors that progress the story, have like a, not a warning, but be like, okay, if you have to hold X to like open this door, you know it's going to be a door that like progresses. So
well, the other way games do it as well in co-op games is like you have a door where it's like you go to move it and you can't move it, so you're like, oh, come over here and do it. Because like Resi
Resi 5 did
Resi
that.
5 did it with a lot of stuff where it's like you get ready to like boost them over and things like that. The problem you get is for one player that's like, oh, I'm ready to move on. You can then end up stuck going like, hey, come and I'll boost you. And then the other player's like, hey, look, there's ammo over here.
Yeah. This is for...
It can take you out of the flow of it a bit.
Yeah. And this is something, because we've said this before, where you're somebody who'll definitely want to go and look at all the collectibles, and I'm not. And so there's potentially a risk that if you're wanting to go around and look at every single thing on the thing, and I don't want to, that there's going to be somebody being there like, anytime now, Cassandra. But apart from like all of the little sort of annoyances and things like that the game had, like I think this is one of the best games I've played this year. It's one of those games up there with Little Nightmares where when I finished playing it, I still think about it, which is in 2019 is really like a testament to how good a game is if it can make me think about it after I finish playing it, because I don't have a lot of attention span for games these days because I'm always working on something, right? I'm always working on a YouTube video, streaming at my job or whatever. And so for a game to like hold my interest after I finish playing it just shows that it was interesting. So highly recommend. I think we're done with spoilers now, so take the spoilers off or whatever. But I highly recommend Man of Medan. However, I don't recommend it solo. I only really recommend it if you have somebody to play with and you guys enjoy games together, because otherwise this game is not as good as Until Dawn solo, I don't think.
I might try the movie night version because I did it last year for Halloween. We sat and played Until Dawn, me and a load of friends, but the game is so long we didn't get the playthrough done.
Yeah.
I think this would be a perfect Halloween, me and friends on the sofa, streaming past the controller mode. Because we probably we normally have about 5 people anyway when we do that kind of stuff. So like, it almost seems like it's made for us. Like it would. I think it would be like.
I watched part of Jesse Cox's Scary Game Squad video of it just to see how it works and everything. And apparently, you put your name in, and it will say like pass the controller to Elliott or pass the controller to Terry.
Oh, that's good. Instead of it being like, oh, you're about to switch to this character.
Yeah. So it tells you when to pass the controller, which is cool. If you want to play it in IRL on the couch with up to 5 people. Cool, I like it.
I'm not sure how it would work with some of the, like, because obviously some of the events, like, you'd have to go through it with one person, then go through the same event with another? Or, like, if the AI take control of one, I don't know.
In the solo mode, I'm fairly certain the AI takes control of the other person. And this is what I'm saying. The reason why I enjoyed this game so much was the fact of that we were seeing different things. And how would you know that if you're playing as only one perspective? And
also,
I guess
I'm assuming the AI just always passes the checks.
I was gonna, yeah, maybe or maybe not. I know. I'm assuming that if you play it solo, you'll see bits of both perspectives, so you will actually figure out. I'm sure it's edited in a different way so that you will figure out the plot line if you're playing it solo. But I think this is where the mixed reviews are coming from. I think everybody that's playing it in a co-op is loving it, and I think most people that aren't loving it are probably playing it solo. And that's a legitimate criticism. If a game's only enjoyable when you play it with other people, I mean, that could be said about any game. Even Alien Isolation is more fun with a friend. I mean, 2 times 0 is still 0, but sure. What I'm saying?
I had this conversation recently talking about WoW Classic where there was a lot of people being like, oh yeah, but if you have a few friends and you're doing it, I was just like, I used to live in a small town in the middle of nowhere. We had this like nightclub that was basically an attic with disco lights and speakers, but we always had fun there because we went with our friends. And if that kind of thing can be fun with friends, saying something is fun with friends is not really like, you're not going to convince me that, oh no, it's good because it's fun with friends. It's like, most people with their friends will just make fun out of something. You can make it fun.
I feel like in this case, it's more of a, if you have a football and you're kicking it against a wall, it's kind of fun. But if you get a mate and now all of a sudden it's way more fun. And I think that's more of
American Pie reference. Are you aware that you're literally doing one of the speeches from American Pie 1?
Am I? I've not seen that film in years.
That's with the tennis ball. Yeah,
Ah, okay.
it can be fun banging a tennis ball against the wall, but if you get a friend,
I don't remember this reference. Let's just say that I did. Yeah, I did that on purpose. American
it's
Pie.
Jim's dad talking about alone time as a teenager.
I mean, I got it. I got the reference. I got the gist. But no, that's not what that was supposed to be. My whole point is that I feel like, again, if they'd have just been more open and honest and been like, hey, do you know what? This game's designed for co-op. Because it is clearly designed
Or
for
even
co-op.
just put, like, if you're playing on your own, matchmake with someone else who's playing on their own. Put them, I suppose, matchmaking for a 5-hour game, there's going to be...
Yeah, no, that's not going to work. I mean, it could work, but then if you go away, do you matchmake with the same person? Do they have to wait? Do you go with someone new? Nah,
So
I feel like there's nothing wrong with having a game designed for co-op and saying, hey, look, you know what I mean? We designed it for co-op. They gave you the option to play it solo, but that's not the way the game's designed to be played. It's designed to be played with a friend. And if you don't have a friend, maybe you won't buy it. And I think that's probably why they didn't go. I think they do say like the game is better with friends. Like I think if you delve into the like stuff, it probably says it somewhere. And the game definitely does say don't play alone. But I feel like there needs to be like a big warning box being like, hey, this game is a lot better with a buddy. Go find a buddy, do that, and then come back.
Just like a disclaimer at the start being like, this game is intended to play co-op.
Yeah, exactly. Be upfront about it. Because I feel like this probably would have helped the review state a lot on Steam, I think. And again, you know, Steam reviews aren't everything, but it will definitely paint your game in a much better light if you're open and honest about it. Because all those people that are like, you know what, I haven't got a friend to play it with, or I don't have the time to find a buddy or whatever. Maybe they wouldn't have bought it and reviewed it negatively. You know,
I mean, I'm going through the reviews, and so a lot of the positive reviews are between 5 and 11 hours played, because obviously it shows like how many hours on record. So many of the negative ones are like 4 and less. There is one negative review where it's got like 11 hours in the game, and I feel like a lot of people clearly played it on their own, got maybe halfway through it, and then we're just like,
I don't think so. If we did it in 5 hours, knowing that we were having conversations during the middle of it, and we were both sort of we were on stream as well, I feel like 4 hours is probably a solo playthrough because you're not having to wait for the other person. Do you know what I mean? So like, I feel like 4 hours is probably one playthrough. So I think, I do think most of the negative reviews, not all of them, because I did have a little scan through the Steam reviews, and some of them are talking about how it's not scary, and that's true, it's not. And I feel like, you know, a lot of them are purely though, this game wasn't designed to be played alone. And it's a fair criticism, and it's something that I don't think anybody's talking about. I've not heard this conversation. The game just kind of came out and sort of that was it. No one seems to be really talking about it. So
I mean, I've had this conversation with a couple of people on Twitter. I mean, we were saying this before the podcast. Everyone I've seen on Twitter mention the game. I'm like, please play a co-op.
Yeah,
you are gonna have a better time.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And you know, as also as streamers, you know, we have that luxury of being able to be like, oh, I have people to play the games with, whereas not everyone will. And that's, again, you know, if you buy the game and you don't have anyone to play it and you play it solo and you don't enjoy it, that's a legitimate feeling, you know. And so it is absolutely, in my opinion, one of the best games I've played this year, but only because I played it with you. So that sounded very cheesy.
I was
because I
played
it with a person.
With you, and I was like, oh.
Because I played it with a person, you know, like
you think I'm a person?
Yeah, I do. Oh my
that's
God.
nice. That's the best compliment I think you've ever given me. Is that you recognize me as a human?
I recognize you as a human. What's I'm going to recognize you as? A podcast bitch? I don't know.
Just a number.
Yeah, I don't know. But no, yeah, so Medan, awesome. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next one. I do wish there were more co-op horror games, because a lot of the co-op horror games are trash. So
definitely play a co-op. I wish on the store they'd said, because it literally has like a picture for a GIF frame basically that says "Don't play alone," and it says like the end of the description, "Don't play alone." I wish they would be like, why. "Don't play alone." Brackets. No. We really mean it. Yeah. Please play cooperatively.
No, because in my head, I assumed that was supposed to be like it's too scary to play alone.
Yeah, that's what it comes across.
It's really not. It's really not scary at all. You know, there was some cool monster design and stuff like that, but it wasn't scary.
The graphics are beautiful.
Yeah, just like Until Dawn.
It's really
that was another criticism that people had, though, and it's another fair criticism.
The faces are a bit...
The mocap, yeah. The motion cap, it's weird. It's Uncanny Valley. That's what it is.
I was going to say, I don't know whether it's Uncanny Valley or whether it's just like they're like off a bit, but
it's a bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both. It is definitely Uncanny Valley. Like, but this was the same criticism that was levied against the first game, Until Dawn, though. Sorry, they're not related. There's no plot crossover between them, but this was levied against Until Dawn as well. The motion cap in that was a bit awkward, but it's because they look so realistic. And some of these people, I mean, they're actual actors, you know, a lot of them. And so when you see them and then you see them being digitally recreated, there's always going to be an element of that looks a bit funky. So it's a legitimate criticism, but for me, I don't really care about that. I don't care about a little bit of a janky mocap. The graphics were stunning. The game looked awesome. It was like being in a movie, except you got to like make decisions in the movie. And I'm always a fan of that.
It was good. And on the basis that it's a game that is completely outside of a genre, completely outside of the genres of game I play, and I really enjoyed it. If anyone was like, oh, I've got £25 to spend on a game, me and a mate want to play something, I would be like, cool, I have a good suggestion for you. Like, it would be an easy suggestion if someone's like, I want a co-op game.
Yeah.
Or if we had like a couple streamer friends who were like, oh, we want to do a co-op stream, and we want a game to play together, I would be like, man and Medan.
Yeah. But it's very interesting because, you know, we've been in a weird position for the last sort of 5 years or so where people have been adamant that single player games are dead and everything has to be multiplayer. And we've had so many games who just tacked on multiplayer or forced games being come out like live service games and all these kind of thing. It's really nice to see that studios are still trying to push that single player or cooperative experience, you know, because this is absolutely a cooperative experience. And it's nice to see that games are still being pushed in these kind of circles, because for the most AAA developers now are only focusing on games that can monetize the hell out of. It's really nice to see a studio go, hey, do you know what? You want to play with your friends, but you don't have to do online bullshit? Here you go. Here's a co-op game. So I really do. I feel like this game is underrated. I think this game is not being spoken about enough. I think it is absolutely a, you know, I want to say it's a masterpiece because I wouldn't go that far, but it is an absolutely great game and it's not being fairly recognized, but the greatness does have a few drawbacks. So definitely play it with a friend if you're going to pick it up, but I would highly recommend it. If you have watched all the way through this section with the spoilers, thinking you weren't going to play it, and now you're like, well, I would have played it, but now you spoiled the whole game for me. Do it anyway.
Yeah, it's still going to be worth playing.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, worst case scenario, like, I basically have a scale of don't buy it at current price, pick it up on sale, definitely pick it up. This is firmly in the pick it up,
yeah,
especially if it's your kind of game.
£25, I feel like, you know, 5 hours is short, 100%, but there's definitely replayability here. I want to play it again, 100%. Whether that's with you or with somebody else, I want to play it again. So I definitely think that's a fair price for it, and I'm really.
I kind of want to do a playthrough where we do the opposite characters.
Well, we said that if we do another playthrough,
like, I think that'd be a really good way of doing it. Also, there's a decision I made in the start that I would need to change.
Yeah, there was definitely a decision which I said to you, you made the wrong decision, and you did. But yeah, but this is the thing. This is what I really like about these story-driven games. Some of the decisions are so ambiguous or so they can seem so insignificant, but they have a giant impact on the story. I won't spoil those specifics, but there was one insignificant choice that absolutely had a big impact, and then there were a lot of choices that were really hard to determine which was going to be the better or worse choice. Like there was one moment, and this is potentially another criticism of the game, but there was one moment where I had two choices, and they were very, very similar. One was distract and one was divert. And I was like, well, which one of those? I don't know. I chose distract. Apparently that was the wrong one. Although I don't know if it was the wrong one, because it could have gone even worse the other way. So who knows, you know, and I like that. I like that sort of.
And then I got a lot of criticism at one point because there was literally it gave you the option to split up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to do it. And everyone was just like, oh, you do it. Like, why would you ever split up?
But then that turned out to be quite a good decision. So again, no spoilers or no more spoilers. But yeah, go and play it. Go and definitely, it's, in my opinion, worth the money. I think it's very, very good. It's very underrated.
Find a friend, play it with them.
Yeah, 100%. Find a friend. So that is Man of Medan. Really, really fan of that. Next topic. We got a couple of little topics. I mean, that we've only got really little topics this week. There's a few news stories that we're not going to be covering. There's a few major news stories that we're not going to be covering, and I'm not even going to talk about them. There's obvious reasons why I don't want to cover them on the podcast. We are a gaming podcast, but I don't want to talk about this. There's some gaming stuff going on in the gaming sphere that I just don't really want to discuss.
It's not what we're about.
It's not what we're about. All I will say, if you're kind of twigging on to what I'm talking about, let's just be excellent to each other. Let's not be arseholes. Can we just do that? Can we stop, as the internet, stop attacking everybody for having different opinions? That would be great. But anyway, moving on. So Steam, there's a little news topic here. Steam are finally updating their goddamn store UI and platform. Finally,
Yeah.
I think
Who's been saying for the
2000.
last 2 months, like, oh, Epic turning up, Steam might pull their finger out and do some stuff. And I'm not like Steam might be like, oh, it's got nothing to do with that. It's just a feature we've wanted to for a while. But Steam
Well,
for years hasn't had this feature, and people have criticized it. Epic
yeah.
turned up and started doing things, and now suddenly Steam is making positive changes.
Exactly. It's almost like competition is a good thing. But yeah, if you haven't heard, Steam are finally they are changing the UI on the game, on your game library, your library tab. There's going to be a couple of different things. So not only are you going to be able to see your games in your library rather than just in a list, you're going to be able to see them in like a square format, like kind of like the big picture mode, but not quite. But also, you're finally going to be able to search through your own library using the tag system. About goddamn time, because I've been saying this for years that I need to be able to search through my library. I own over 400 freaking games on Steam, and I can't search them by horror or whatever, you know?
You own
It's like,
too many games.
I do, but I mean, it's years of humble bundles and stuff, you know, like they accrue, right? So
It's true.
So it's like I've had Steam like 10 years. So yeah, it's finally, it's great to see them adding this feature. However, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna give Steam a little bit of shit here. It's good to see them add this feature, but it's literally, in my own opinion, I've got no evidence to back this up. In my own opinion, they're only doing it now because they've got some competition, and they should have done this a long time ago. They've not really made any major improvements to their storefront in, I can't even remember when, honestly. Like, don't get me wrong, big picture mode is cool if you're on like a console or something. Well, not a console, but you know what I mean? If you have like you know how some people have like PCs in their living room, they have it like a console, you know?
Yeah.
Like, sure, great. But like, big picture mode is not great for the average PC user. So that's cool. I like big picture when I'm doing weird stuff like that, but generally speaking, I don't use it. So it's finally good to see them do this, but in my head, it's purely only because they have some competition now. And but hey, look, that's a good thing, right? We've said this before. Even though Epic, a lot of people don't like them, and that's fine. A lot of people hate Epic. Great, whatever. I don't care. But seeing that Steam is now finally improving their store a little bit gives me a little bit of hope, because, you know, Steam is my main platform and I like to have most of my games in Steam. It's great. So if they're going to actually improve their service that I keep buying games on for apparently a giant share that Steam get from all those sales, it's nice to see that they're actually doing something for once. So,
I mean, they've had a tag system forever in the store. Like, all they have, I mean, I don't program shit, so like, but surely all they have to do is go, oh, in your library, the tags just remain in the game, and when you search, it searches tags.
Well, this is the thing. When the game is in your library, if you click on it and go to the store page, the tags are there. So,
I mean, yeah, I'm probably oversimplifying it, and if there's anyone in the comments that want to be like, it's more complicated than that, then you can jog on.
No, but it will be. But the point is that they have so much money. Steam, you know, Valve has all of this money. They are the number one, and they still are the number one storefront for PC games. PC games is a massive industry. They make a hell of a lot of money just purely by being there and sitting there, right? They make a hell of a lot of passive income. Let's be fair. Then they should be doing stuff to improve their service.
I mean, they're selling like digital property. Like, there's no like, obviously you have the servers and stuff, but
yeah, and they've got to update it. They've got to, you know, well, I was going to say they have to curate it, but we know they don't really do that. But this is what I'm saying. There's been a lot of people be really, really dissatisfied with Steam for the longest time, and I think this is why services like Epic have taken off so much, because as soon as a company just tries a little bit harder, they will gain success. And so I'm really glad to see Steam actually finally pulling their finger out and doing something. I mean, it's far too long. They should have done this years ago. However, if all it took was Epic to come along and give them a little bit run for the money. I mean, this is my thing though, right? This is my argument, is as soon as they started to lose money, all of a sudden they start improving their features. They don't improve them because we want them. We've been asking for years and they couldn't be asked to do it. But as soon as they lose some money, then they go and do that.
Also, the fact they're doing it because they're getting competition from a company that's basically saying, pay your devs more.
Yeah.
So they're going, okay, yeah, well, I mean, we won't do that, but we'll put in for this other feature and we'll sort some of that other stuff out.
Yeah. We said, so pay your devs more. You mean don't take as much of the devs' money, essentially.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I feel like this is just business. You know, big businesses like this, they don't really care about anything until they lose money, which is why we say vote with your wallet. If you don't like something, don't give them your money, because that's all they really care about. And then, look, I don't mind that. Like, businesses want to make money. That's what they're there for. If they didn't make money, they wouldn't be in business. That's the whole point of business. However, for me, I do think it should be a 50-50. It should be the customer gives you money, you give them a good service. You know, that's how it works. Go back to the restaurant analogy. You know, I love this analogy, right? You go into a restaurant, if the food's good and the service is good. I do love an analogy. But if the food's good and the service is good, you'll go back again. You know, if you go in and the food's great, but the service is awful, you won't go back again. And it's the same way around. If you go in and the service is amazing, but the food is shit, you won't go back again. You need both. You need a good service and you need a good product. And Steam has good products, but they have really, really bad service. And this is what we need to.
But
you go
for
to
a long time,
Epic have really
Steam
good
was the
products,
only
but really
restaurant
bad
in
service
town.
too. Yeah, they were. They were the only restaurant. You had to go there. And this is
Babe,
what.
do you want to go out for food? I don't want to go to Steam again. The service is awful. It's like, well, it's that, or we got to leave town. Like,
yeah, it's like that, or we have to make our own food. And you know, we don't like making our own food. But it's true. You're absolutely right. They were the only restaurant in town for so long. And they were like, oh, fuck it. We'll do what we want then. And they had that attitude of, whereas if you go into that restaurant and say, this is crap, they go, what are you going to do about it? You can't go anywhere else, can you?
just go, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good to see this. And this is what I was saying. I mean, this was back to like the first few episodes of the podcast where I was saying that Epic actually taking off will be good for the industry in one way or the other. And this is what I'm talking about. Steam are finally improving their service. If they can get their service to be, you know, great and actually modern and all that lot, and if they could maybe sort of give the you know, developers a little bit of a better split, then great. Steam will continue to be the king of the stores for forevermore. But yeah, just about time, Steam. I just basically put this topic in just so I can have another dig at Steam. Even though I literally have Steam open 24/7 all the time because it's my preferred platform.
Steam because I was like, it's gonna update something. I was like, the Discord call.
I don't understand why Steam updates games that don't have updates. It's like, here's an update for Final Fantasy VII. Like, why? Like, I swear that's Steam just checking that you're still, you know, you still own it. But yeah, that's it. That's the topic. There's only a little one. So next topic. Now, we haven't done that joke today. We haven't done the joke.
It was the joke was better with Platt.
Yeah, it was to be
fair.
Everything's better with Platt, let's be honest.
I love Platt.
Yeah, we all love Platt. I messaged her today.
The other week I commissioned her for emotes and oh my god, she sent me like the template for the emote that she's using. So she made like a little chibi Elliott.
Chibi Elliott.
She's got a little chibi Elliott, and then she did the first emote, and she sent me like just the larger size of it.
Yeah,
and it looks so good.
I've got a segue.
I actually can't wait.
I've got a segue. Talking about companies only finally updating their service when they have some competition. Twitch is going back to adding new features again because Mixer is getting some more traction. So, you know,
Twitch has finally added a feature that Mixer have been doing for ages. Yeah. And it's currently in beta. And to be fair, I like it. But there's a lot of people who have just gone like, this is already on Mixer.
Wait, which feature are we talking about? Are we talking about the same feature?
So I'm talking about the channel experience or currency or whatever they're calling it.
Oh, I wasn't talking about that one. I was talking about a different
I know you're not. You're talking about something else. But I thought I'd completely overhaul you because...
Oh, wait. Excuse me? Are you taking over the podcast?
The thing you're talking about isn't on Mixer, I don't think.
No, but again, my point is that as soon as Mixer started gaining traction as a platform, because this happened last year, about a year ago, Mixer started to gain some headline news and traction, and all of a sudden Steam was like, oh, feature, even though most of the features that Twitch launch are always half-baked and shit, they are still trying, and that's a good thing. But my feature was you can finally, if you've done a name change on Twitch, up until now, your emote prefix, which is the little letters that you don't get to choose these, but your little letters before your emote names would have been your old name. So now you can finally update them. So if you do a name change on Twitch, you can update them. So now, for example, my emotes used to be Mr. Grum 2, whatever. They're now the Gru 18, I think. The Gru. I'm Gru, apparently. They're now the Gru.
Wait, that's too many letters. Shouldn't it just be the, and then it should be like the Gur, and then a number.
It's GRU. It's the Gru 18, mine.
Because someone was complaining on Twitter, they were like, can I not have shorter than 6 digits? And they were like,
yeah, well, until you're a partner, you don't get to choose your prefix. Your prefix is...
Because mine's blind 6, which is like... great.
Yeah, they're crap. But thanks. I mean, I don't see why only partners can change it, but then I'm sure if they let every affiliate do it, affiliates would find some way to make them TOS or whatever. But anyway, the point was they've updated that. You are saying they're adding even more features. There's a
So they've
currency
added a
system or
feature
something.
that has been on Slobs for not Slobs has been on like Chatbot and Streamlabs and stuff forever,
Yeah.
which is channel currencies.
Mhm.
So we probably all have them. I know that you had them because I used to redeem Twitter follow constantly.
Mhm.
So they have added an inbuilt Twitch integrated currency for your chat. It shows up below the chat box. It's just a little number. You get an amount per unit of time, and then basically to promote being active in chats, every now and then it will come up with a little box, and then you can click the box and you get more currency. They by default have a couple functions. So you can highlight a message, which basically just highlights it in purple, but at the moment doesn't work in a lot of chat apps. So it doesn't highlight it on that.
Yeah,
It just
so
highlights
it
it
won't
in the
work in the
actual
chat
chat.
boxes and stuff. Yeah.
You can, if you cannot afford a sub to a channel, but you like their emotes, with enough loyalty to the channel, you can get a random emote from them, which basically you hit it and it just gives you one of the tier 1 emotes, or you can take a specific emote from them, which you can then pick a tier 1 emote, and then you get it for an amount of time. You can also edit emotes. So if you are a sub, you can take one of the emotes and you can put sunglasses on it, you can flip it horizontally, or you can make it black and white. The fact you can't rotate them makes me real mad. I wish you could just
edit our emotes. That's a
yeah.
bit
So
weird.
say I was in your chat, I could, and I had enough points, and you had this feature. I could take the GGWP and I could make it black and white. I could flip it. I could put sunglasses on it. You cannot move the sunglasses. They just puts them in a specific place. So I've seen some emotes for sunglasses where it really works. I've seen some emotes for sunglasses where it doesn't work whatsoever. There is a streamer that I've been
There's
watching
going to
for a
be a
little while
lot of
now.
booty emotes that end up with sunglasses on. I can see it now.
Yeah,
I can
and
see it.
if you can get them right on the cheeks, it'd be quite good. But yeah, there's a streamer I watch a lot called Bammy Leaf, who's an English streamer, and we've been playing with her emotes like crazy because she got onto the beta.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of Platt, she's on the beta too. So if you go and watch Platt's channel, you can play around with these settings.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah, so they're still looking for feedback. It is in beta. I've said to basically every streamer that I've been in their chat where they have it, I'm like, please let me move the sunglasses. Please let me do more than just a horizontal flip. Can I just do whatever? Also, with some emotes, if you H flip them and then put the sunglasses on, they line up perfectly. But you can only do one of the things at a time, and you can't edit edited emotes. So it's not a perfect system, but it is in beta, and I quite like it.
I like the idea behind it, because if you think about it, it's rewarding people actually like watching and engaging with your content. And that's something that is, there's a lot of, let's be fair with Twitch, there's a lot of lurking going on. Now before anyone goes, oh, I'm a lurker and I like a lurking. Nobody minds
the
lurkers.
Affiliates out there
Nobody
going,
minds lurkers.
Well, I love my lurkers.
No. We all like our lurkers. What I'm saying is there's a lot of people that will purely lurk so they count as a viewer in your stream, and it inflates the numbers and makes it harder for everybody else. And so rewarding people who actually do engage with content is a good thing, because not only does it make more lurkers, likely to actually engage with your content, but then in I'm sure in Twitch's head, it also makes them more likely to cheer some bits or subscribe or whatever. So, from their point of view, it's a good thing. From our point of view, it's good because it encourages engagement. And again, I love my lurkers. Do not think that I don't. However, if everybody in your stream lurks and nobody's talking, then you end up having a very, very boring stream. And we all stream to hang out with people. If we didn't want to do that, we would all just make YouTube videos, because let's be honest, there's way more people on YouTube. The whole point of Twitch and Mixer and all these live streaming platforms is to engage with each other. You get to engage with me, I get to engage with you. We're all a community, we get to engage together. So, anything that rewards or encourages engagement is, in my opinion, is a-okay. Let's do that. And it's good to see Twitch are trying to get people to engage a little bit more. So I'm a fan. I feel like any Twitch feature, it's probably going to be half-assed and doesn't work all the time. But
to be fair, even in the beta, it seems pretty well put together at the moment. Because you can also put in your own awards and stuff like that. So Platt's got one where for I think 600 currency, it's just called Wink, and she does a webcam zoom in and she winks. And so you can put your own stuff in there too.
Yeah.
You can also change the prices. You can change the rate that the currency moves at, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You get a loyalty bonus. So say you stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll get maybe like 20 currency a minute on the Monday, maybe 40 a minute on the Tuesday, and then like 60 on the Wednesday. So for tuning into every single one,
which
you get multipliers, which helps you get your average viewers number up, or things like that. Also, taking part in raids yields currency too. So if I do a raid and people go into your chat and they do the whole like insert raid message that is my raid message, I think it gives them currency in my chat too.
Cool. Again, I like
encourages people partaking in raids. Honestly, I can't see any negatives to it yet.
Started lashing it down outside.
For a minute I thought you looked at the cat, and then you went. I was like, "What is a cat doing?"
No, I started lashing it down. Just all of a sudden. I'm cool. I'm cool with that. I'm cool. I'm always happy to see new features, even though, like I say, the tag system was crap. Things like that. I'm happy to see them. I like new systems.
Yeah, the tag system is a bit shit.
Yeah, especially considering we lost communities for it. But we're not going to talk about that. I've already had my opinion on that one.
Not just that, but they took away the recommended tags, which is really annoying. Because I used to look into the recommended tags and go like, oh, actually, yeah, that does apply. And then now I go into the tags and it's like, oh yeah, you have to scroll through the list of 800 tags alphabetically, or you have to search for the tag that you're looking for.
Wait, Elliott, are you saying that you want Twitch to make it easier to find people? I don't think that's what they want. I think it to be hard. I think they want it to be hard to find people, or it seems to be that way.
If you find my stream, congratulations, because I'm hidden in an abyss.
Yeah, we all are. Anybody as a streamer, unless you're 100 viewers plus, you are always in the abyss. Speaking of the abyss, that was a really nice segue. That was good, Elliott. That was skillful.
100%
Dead by
planned.
Daylight PTB is currently up, and I've only played a little bit. I played a little bit last night, and Demogorgon's out, and the Demogorgon's really fun, like really fun.
He is really fun. And did you do his Mori?
Yeah, of course I did.
His Mori is cool. I kind of wish his Mori bit their head off, but I know that like the meshing and stuff isn't in place.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like let's talk about that, because Dead by Daylight for the longest time hasn't had any monsters. They've always had humanoids, and they said they were never going to do it. They were never going to have anything anthropomorphic, I think, because they admitted this. They said it would be too difficult for them to change their mesh, because basically every killer works on the same mesh. So they said it would be too difficult, right? And the only reason they did it with Stranger Things DLC is, one, they really wanted the Stranger Things DLC. Of course they did, let's be fair. But two, the designers of the show, because of course the Demogorgon in the show is CGI. I think all of it's CGI anyway. So they actually shared their mesh with Dead by Daylight, and so they said they had to get it to work properly, but it helped them a lot. Like having that
you got to bring it into the engine and things like that. But like it's a big step of doing it.
Yeah. It's a large chunk of that work, and so like I feel like, let's be fair, Dead by Daylight developers. I'm not saying they're bad. I mean, they've done a pretty good job so far. But they're not, and this is with the greatest respect, because Dead by Daylight is one of my favorite games, right? I love that game. I put over 500 hours into it. They're not the most technically advanced developers of all time. All right,
I'm not so much. I mean, I'm gonna white knight the DVD devs. We had this conversation after the announcement for not Plague, for someone else. After one of the announcements, the E3 roadmap.
Yeah.
We sat and had this conversation, me, you, and Taylor, and we went, they are releasing way too much stuff too quickly.
Yeah, they are.
Without a huge dev team. And I think a lot of it is that they don't want to play with their meshes and things because it's time consuming.
Right. Excuse me, you're probably
right.
And
it's like four times a year, they're like, cool, we're going to bring out new killers, new maps, do this, do that. The new map is really cool. I like it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot.
There's a lot of filler kind of stuff. Also, I don't like... I was playing Survivor, ran away from Demogorgon, ran along, turned a corner, complete dead end.
I was going to say
where one of the exit gates are.
Yeah.
And there's just like, I get that if you're in a facility, you're not going to have an exit gate. But like in the mental institute where you have the exit bit, the big square thing that has pallets and loops and things like that, and then exits either side.
There's a lot of dead ends in that map.
I ran around a corner, hid behind a barrel, Demogorgon goes, oh, look, scratch marks. Instantly like walks up to me, just, Yeah. And I was like, if I'd have run around that corner and there was another entrance to this exit way, I wouldn't be dead right now.
Yeah, I haven't had chance to play it, but I've seen a lot of YouTube people play it, and I've seen the
it
dead
looks
ends.
awesome.
Yeah, it does. I played as the Demogorgon though.
Portal room from the TV show.
Yeah.
Netflix show.
Yeah, it's a TV show.
From the show.
It's a form of television.
Oh yeah, but like the big portal bit that's in the room that in the show they like show it like getting flamethrower back, stuff like that. They've got that in there. It's really cool.
Yeah,
the hooks are also made up of like rats and mind flayer gunk.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of really really cool details, and I don't want everyone to go away from this being like, oh, Elliott hates the new map just because there's dead ends and he should get good and learn the map.
No,
brilliant map.
I agree
really
though. Like I like the theme of the map. But the dead ends are a real problem because everyone, you can body block as a killer. You can potentially block somebody in that dead end. And the whole point of a survivor should be running away, not running into a dead end. Although I don't know how much variation there is on this new map because they're saying that a lot of the old maps are being changed up and stuff. And most of the old maps have like randomly procedure generated stuff. I don't know how much of procedure generation is going to happen on this map because if that was the case and there's dead ends on the map, then it would be very, very difficult for survivors to like.
I think it's going to be like, so the procedure generated stuff on that is going to be like where the pallets are, where the lockers are, where the totems are.
Yeah.
You can't really do the routing and stuff the way it's built because
Yeah.
it's like, it's not, what's the map that's like, there's like 3 stories basically. And it's all very like up and down.
There's a few.
Is it the Gideon meat plant where you can like,
plant.
you go up to the little office bit and then down and then there's a basement as well.
Yeah.
And it's not quite that level of like on top of each other, but there is a lot of up and down play.
Yeah.
Which is good. I really like the up and down play. It also means that people will try and play the nurse because they'll be like, oh, I'm going to blink around. And then they're all trash it. So that's always nice.
I do like a trash nurse. My favorite killer. But when I face a bad nurse, I love it. Bad nurses or bad wraiths. If I have a flashlight, I love a bad wraith. You can find how much I love bad wraiths on my YouTube video called I Finally Became a Toxic Survivor because I bullied the crap out of that poor little boy.
I don't watch that one. Watch the barbecue and chili one.
Well, 3,000 people have watched that one, and it's stressing me out, man. I need to make more Dead by Daylight content for my YouTube channel because 3,000 people have watched it and then gone, okay, that's all of his Dead by Daylight stuff, so we'll go elsewhere. But yeah, so I played a few matches of the Demogorgon, and I really like him. I don't like his theme. Like, I prefer killers to be like actual killers, and he's just like a beast. But I really like how he plays. For anybody who hasn't seen him yet, he has 2 abilities. The first ability, he can place down little portals anywhere he wants. He's got a limited number of them, but he can put them down pretty much anywhere he wants.
Yeah, 6 for the map, I think.
Yeah, and he can teleport between any of them. So if you have to go to one of them to teleport to another one, essentially. But once you are stood on one of them, you can pick any of the others and you can teleport to it. Now, it takes a little bit of time. You got to dig down in and then you got to transport yourself between them. But like, it's quicker than Billy, you can get to one end of the map quicker than he can. And that's really powerful. And he also has a pounce attack. And this pounce attack, you channel the abyss. And while you're channeling the abyss, anybody who's nearby, you can see them like Legion does. You can see their like heartbeat kind of thing. And then if you let go of it, you do a heck of a lunge. And this is a big old lunge. And I feel like this old lunge is going to get nerfed because it's a really, really long lunge. And it's very quick as well.
I think they just need to make it so like if he hits a wall or something, it stuns him for it. Because like I've seen a lot of them hit the wall, but he snaps out of that.
Yeah, there is a slowdown. I personally am going to argue against that because I hate being slowed down as a killer. I almost wish, like, I don't know, like make it a little bit less long or less fast or something, but don't take control away from me. It's why I don't play nurse. I really don't like control being taken away from me. Not when, like, if you get pallet stunned or flashlight, sure, right? Get pallet stunned. That's fine, right? But when I use my ability and then I get slowed down and stunned, it annoys the heck out of me. But regardless, Demogorgon is really powerful. I think he's really cool. He reminds me power level of Billy. I think he's kind of on the same level as Billy. He can't instant down people like Billy can, but he can close that gap goddamn fast. And I know Billy can do that too, and Billy can shred pallets, but I feel like one thing as well that no one's really talking about the Demogorgon is that he has an inbuilt, like, potentially, he has the ability to slow the game down just a little bit. It was a Monto reference. Because if you place these portals down, these I forget what they call them, but you place these portals down, survivors can cleanse them and they dig them out, but it takes time and it's not an insignificant amount of time either. And anybody who plays Dead by Daylight will know that as a survivor, the longer you take, the more likely you're going to die. In fact, the most effective way of escaping Dead by Daylight is known as gen rushing, which means get out as fast as you can. Complete gens and get out. Don't do anything else, because anything that takes time gives the killer time to come and get you. And so I feel like that's a really powerful thing as well. And I feel like we're going to get to a stage where people are going to start developing strategies like they did with the Plague, where very quickly after the Plague launch, the strategy was just don't cleanse. And I think that's going to happen with the Demogorgon as well. People are like, don't cleanse them. Don't just leave them. However, then that allows you to have like so much map pressure because you can get around to any part of the map.
I was going to say, yeah, the cleansing is like, oh, I'm still poisoned. Like, it's not great, but the not cleansing with the Demogorgon is just like, oh, he can just teleport where he wants.
But like it takes so long to cleanse, and I think that's probably something they're gonna balance change, because that slows the game down so much. Which, as a killer, I love that. I love the game being slower, because slower games are more fun for a killer. Because the worst games as a killer are when you find one person and 3 gens are already done. So I feel like that's probably why he's so powerful, and in my opinion, he's on par with Billy, is because he does have that inbuilt slow the game down mechanic, and his own perks as well also slow the game down. He has a perk where when you down somebody, if you down them with a basic attack, all the generators around you get like regressed. They explode and regress, which is just awesome. So yeah, I'm a fan. I'm really enjoying it. I've only played a few matches with him, but I'm really enjoying him. And Nancy and Steve, whatever, they look cool. It's cool to see them.
You didn't play any Survivor, did you?
Not yet, no.
Nancy's perks are very good. If you cleanse a totem, and then basically if you get injured, you can go sit in a locker for 8 seconds and you'll get healed.
Yeah,
rich self-care.
A lot of people, because they announced these perks with a live stream, I think it was last week or the week before, and a lot of people were like, oh my god, it's so good. But one thing that nobody's talking about is that when you're in a locker, if the killer knows you're in that locker, unless you've got head on, you're on hook now. Like and as well, you're injured as well, which when you're injured in a locker, the killer can hear you. And so I feel like this perk is really well balanced, because if you can get away with it, you're going to get a free heal, but also there's a big heckin' risk of being injured in a locker, because the amount of times, like I've had a few games recently on stream where I've had like really, really good luck on lockers. There was one stream I was playing the Huntress, and there was I think 6 lockers in the basement, and I just picked one at random. There was somebody in it, and then I had the same thing as the Demogorgon. Although with the Demogorgon, I was playing a match, I heard the survivor get in the locker, and I was like, I heard a door, and I was like, come on. But yeah, it's like I'm liking these new perks. They're interesting. I think, is it Nancy's perk where you can see your own scratch marks? That one,
yes,
in my opinion, is a redundant perk, because as a good survivor, you should know roughly where your scratch marks are. And as a new survivor, you're probably not going to really know how to use the scratch marks very well. So I feel like it's a good training wheel, but that's all it really is. Like you should know where your scratch marks are.
I really like her. So her other perk is that if you're working on a generator, if your teammates are near you, they can see that you're working on the generator. Like it shows the aura to your teammates,
which again is
run
great.
That with like prove thyself.
Yeah, well, that's a great perk if you're not swiffing, because if you're swiffing, you'll probably know where you can tell each other where you are. But again, if you're not playing Survivor Friends, again, fantastic perk. So, but yeah, I'm really excited for this to launch and be released onto the general population. I think as well, 6 survivor perks to 3 new killer perks is going to be interesting, because we've never had 2 survivors be launched at the same time before, so that's going to be interesting. Although we are owed one because Ghostface came out with no survivors, so yeah, it's probably going to balance things out a little bit.
Steve's perks as well, like there's really no synergy between the two of them.
Yeah,
Steve's are very like save your friends, be around people, guard.
Yeah,
so like if you're on the hook and you're on struggle, and another survivor goes near you, it stops the struggle.
Yeah,
so like,
which is very situational, but.
He's also got another one where it's like something to do with an instant heal for getting someone off. I can't. It's long. The other one he's got. So like if you get unhooked with certain criteria being met, you just instant heal.
I think you go broken.
Then you heal.
You go broken, and then you heal. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything here that's gonna like completely break the game. We always have a meta shift. Whenever new perks are released, we always have a meta shift. And this time there's 9 new perks being released. So there's definitely gonna be
shift some stuff around.
Yeah, but I like that. I like that about Dead by Daylight. I like when they change the meta, because you can come out with new builds. And what I love about this game is when we first see the perks, everyone's like, oh yeah, everyone's gonna run that. And then something unexpected happens, and it's usually like big YouTubers that figure this stuff out. But like somebody will find a little combination of two of the new perk with an old perk or something, and it will make the whole meta shift. And I love that. I know there's been I don't know if you've seen it. There's been a little meta shift already with people combining Decisive Strike and Head On and Pebble. Where basically it's the trolliest combination of perks I've ever seen. Essentially, you run into a locker, so fast run in a chase. Then the killer comes over to you. You let them grab you, but then you Decisive Strike them. Then you get back into the locker. Then you head on them, so you stun them. Then you throw a pebble. The killer goes away. You get back in the locker again, or you go somewhere else. And it's like loads of YouTubers and streamers have been using it recently, and just like against
complicated.
it is, but against inexperienced killers, it like totally fucks them up, and I like that. I haven't seen it happen to me yet, but then again, I usually play around Head On. Like if somebody jumps into a locker when I'm chasing them, I just don't let them stun me. But yeah,
I just don't.
I don't. I mean, well, it's like we had this conversation about flashlights, right? When I first started playing Killer, I used to get so triggered by flashlights. I used to get so like, oh my god, so I've found the ultimate counterplay to flashlights. It's so easy. Just injure the person once. Because an injured person, if they flashlight you, you can still hear them and you can still chase them. If you're not an idiot, right, and you have ears, you can like just follow the sound. And 9 times out of 10, you will keep chasing them, you know, like, because as long as you're going in the general direction of what they're going, like by the time the blind is worn off, you're still there. And the amount of people that I have downed because they've got cocky and flashlight stunned me, and I'm like, good job, kiddo. It's great. So yeah.
Well, no one's perfect.
No one's perfect, you know. Dead by Daylight though, still going strong. 500 hours in, I'm enjoying it. Looking forward to it. By the way, anybody who's still watching the podcast all this way through, I have got loads of plans of future Dead by Daylight content. I've been saying it for ages, but I want to do some regular YouTube content for Dead by Daylight because you guys clearly like it. Nearly 3,000 views on my barbecue and chili video, and I really enjoy playing it. So it's a win-win for me. It's an obvious one, you know. So there will hopefully be some more Dead by Daylight. I was actually going to do a video today, and then I ended up playing Classic WoW instead. So sorry about that, but I've got a few videos lined up. I'll be making some Demogorgon stuff. I'll also be making some perk stuff because I want to make a blood farming guide, because I feel like every blood farming guide is always like, play the doctor, herdy-dur, and I hate the doctor. I think he's shit. So I think you can play any killer in Bloodpoint Farm. You just need to know what you're doing. So I'm going to be doing that video at some stage. Anyway, we have, I believe, one more topic. Did you have something? Did you have something to say?
No, I had something that I nearly went to earlier, but it's like you basically were saying about like bolting on multiplayer, and I was going to say, have you seen Cyberpunk? Now they've announced multiplayer. They've said it's not coming out with the release. It's going to come out later.
So
but
like
they've
Red Dead
said nothing else, and I'm just like.
So it'll be like Red Dead's multiplayer. No, but I mean, like that came out later. Also, I am getting, if you're watching this video and being like, why is Grumpy like in the 80s? I've been getting frame drops all day on my camera, and I don't know why. So it is like being in the 80s. Speaking of Cyberpunk,
if I move enough,
2080s.
No, I'm not getting it.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think my PC's dying. I don't know. I'm not sure. Please donate. I don't know. But yeah, sorry, apologies for that. But yeah, so the last topic we want to talk about today, the last mini topic anyway, is Death Stranding. More details.
I was told, this got brought to my attention because, again, we're talking about Platt. Today's just all about Platt.
It is. This is dedicated
Platt
to
tweeted
Platinum
at me
Trophy
after she was on, because me and her have a lot of back and forth about, she was on the episode where we talked about, does Sekiro need an easy mode?
Yeah.
And she basically tweeted at me going, how about getting this for Sekiro? Death Stranding has announced that they are releasing a very easy mode.
Yeah.
I mean, I was obviously, when it came to Sekiro and stuff, I was very firmly in the camp of it doesn't need an easy mode. It's all learnable, stuff like that. Accessibility is another thing entirely. And you were on the thing of right, it's just better.
I always like choices. I think every game should have the choice, yeah.
I assume for this, you are going to be like, yeah, I like it. It's good for people that don't want to play difficult games and want to see the story.
I've actually changed my stance. You should all just get good. No, I same opinion. I totally, there's actually, Kojima has actually come out and said it as well. He said, like, he hopes that people who maybe aren't very much into video games might actually come and play Death Stranding on very easy mode, and maybe that could be their gateway game. And maybe they will then go and discover a whole new world of video games that they never did. And this is why I love choices. I love the options of difficulty modes, because, you know, like if you want to play it as a normal game and you want a challenge and you like it to be hard, then great, you've got that. But if you're somebody who just wants to know the story, and as Kojima says, you know, this game has like a star-studded cast. It has all of these well-known actors. I mean, Mads Mikkelsen by himself, and obviously Norman Reedus, huge following in The Walking Dead. You know, all of these actors and actresses that are in this game may attract some people who just aren't very good at video games because they've never played them. So giving them an option.
Video game journalists.
Yeah, well,
they're going to finally be able to finish a game.
You'll finally be able to review a game, journos. There's
going to be journalists out there being like, "Oh, this is the first game I've ever reviewed where I got to the end. I loved it. 10 out of 10."
Yeah, 10 out of 10. I could actually play this one.
Couldn't get out of tutorial of Cuphead. This is way better.
Oh, I remember those days. But no, so I like it. I think it's a good idea. And apparently it's so easy. You basically just watch. And like, we've said this before, like some video games like blur the line of being like almost like a movie, like Until Dawn, and that, even though Until Dawn is challenging, like absolutely challenging, so is Medan. The lines between video games and movies are, in some cases anyway, more blurred than they've ever been. And this is because of the graphics of video games becoming so good, and, you know, more budgets into video games so they can hire these actors and actresses and they can have these big, brilliant cutscenes and all of this lot. Basically, the game will, from what it sounds like, it will just be one giant cutscene, essentially, with minimal input from the player. And if that's how you want to play it, and by the way, I think it'll be an absolutely tiny minority of people that will use that mode. But if that means that 100 people get to enjoy the game that wouldn't have before, that's an amazing thing. You know, and accessibility is also another aspect of this. There are people that maybe just can't play because they have a disability or whatever. Now they can. So great. Everybody gets to experience this game. So why would you not be on board for that? And here's the thing, there's been no backlash for this one. I mean, there was backlash for Sekiro when people suggested it, because obviously Sekiro doesn't have an easy mode, but it was suggested that it could have one. There was backlash for that. There doesn't seem to be any backlash for this one.
Twitter seems to be pretty much on board. There's one tweet that I found where they were like, remember when Jennifer Hepler suggested the same thing and got roasted by the community? And I'm just like, did she get roasted by the community, or did she or did a few people just like, oh? Yeah. There was one dude who literally was just like, hundreds of wannabe smart asses commenting heard games journalist mode, which did make me giggle because that's the joke I literally just...
Yeah, it is though. I mean, come on, let's be fair.
It's a joke. I'm not serious.
Joke. Exactly. Elliott is basically the new Dave Chappelle. Let's be honest.
I mean, I'm fine with the very easy mode. Like, I'm interested to see how the difficulty is going to... Because Death Stranding, the last thing I saw from it, Kojima was like, it's a walking simulator game. And it looked almost like Metroidvania-esque of like, oh, you've unlocked Extendo Ladder. Go and use Extendo Ladder to get to a new area.
It looks almost like a story-driven, walking simulator.
So, like, I'm interested to see... Obviously, there is combat stuff in it, but I'm interested to see, like, how the difficulty... Because so many games, the difficulty is just like, hard mode, enemies tankier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Metal Gear Solid...
That's more time-consuming.
Metal Gear Solid 5, the difficulty in that came from, like, how quickly they saw you and all things like that. I'm going to be honest, like...
Just punish smaller mistakes, like...
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I don't know, I want to actually play this game, but I have a feeling that the difficulty is going to be a weird one. Just because of what I've seen of the game... There are parts that look like you are literally just walking around, and then there are parts that look like there are lots of big monsters, so we'll see. But regardless, I know more modes, more choice is always great. Speaking of choice, this is like the whole thing with Cyberpunk recently, where everyone's like, oh, no, they've removed gender. No, they're just giving you more choices. Like, just have more choices. I like choices. Choices are great. Did we talk about this last week? Did we talk about Cyberpunk last week, or was that news more recent than that? I think it was more recent than that, wasn't it? The whole
I think it might have been like breaking as I think it was like towards the end of last week.
So if you haven't heard that
which
story,
like I don't really care about.
I don't care either. Essentially, they've turned Cyberpunk from being a male female into a slider. Essentially, that's it.
I mean, it's not. That's you choose a body type. So there are two main characters that you can play as, and you choose the one that is. It doesn't have breasts, and I would assume it has a penis.
I think it's more. I think it's more complicated than that. I don't think it's just two flat body types anymore. I think it is literally you can change
Have they changed it again?
I think you can change.
So the last time I saw it, you choose a body type and then you choose like a voice.
Yeah, but you can change them because the whole point of that game is that people augment their bodies all the time, and so in that universe, it's normal for people to just have whatever parts they want. And so I'm assuming then the character creator, you would have a bit more freedom than just male body, female body, to be honest. However, you have the choice of having a male body and a female voice or vice versa if you want to. Again, choices. I like choices. Choices are good. Choices give you more freedom. Player choice. This is what player choice is, not how EA say player choice is, which is we give players the choice to gamble or gamble or gamble.
Gamble or grind or die.
Yeah, just gamble or pay more money, whichever one you want. But yeah,
I mean, I try. Every time we have this conversation, I say the same thing.
Yeah,
The Witcher 3 was a great game. I trust CD Projekt Red, and I am more than likely going to buy this game. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna stream it.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't care what controversies come out of this game. I'm buying it anyway. So all these people being like, but actually, I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna buy it.
I mean, I might buy the game and then go, actually, yeah, I kind of wish there was just like you could have male, female, or other suggestions that I've seen or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like this whole choose a body type or what sliders or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That might be what happens when I buy the game. But
maybe.
So many games nowadays, because they come from companies that we've learned not to trust. Not learned not to trust because we're trying to be shitty about it, but learn not to trust because they've let us down before.
Yeah, because again, go back to the restaurant analogy. We've walked into the restaurant and we've paid top dollar to get a seat. The seat turns out to be shit. The food turns out to be shit. And the service turns out to be shit. And then they go, oh, wait, you want a dessert? You have to pick one at random and you might not get it.
I mean, more likely with the restaurant analogy at the moment with video games, you've gone in, you've pre-booked a meal, you turn up and they give you a cocktail and you're like, this isn't my meal. And there was like, well, this is what you're getting. We changed it when you weren't looking.
Let's be fair, to actually make the analogy more accurate, you turn up to the restaurant and it's still being fucking built. That is more accurate of an analogy. So
you booked into an Italian restaurant, it's now Chinese food, and the kitchen's not finished.
Yeah, they've got like construction workers just hammering over your table, be like, I'll be done in a minute. Just like dust just falling onto your thing. It's fine, it's just an early access restaurant. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You accepted this when you walked in the door. Can't complain.
I was going to say we got to stop complaining, but if they give us a reason to stop complaining, we'll do it.
I will stop. You know, my mum actually, I told her about the whole, because my mum watches the podcast and I know your mum does as well. But I told her about the whole, like, we tried to promote it and it said it was too shocking and everything. And she was like, do you think it's because you're always having a go at these massive corporations? And I was like, yeah, probably. And she was like, are you going to stop? I was like, no, no, never. Well, I'll stop when they stop. I've said this. Look,
just pay
I am like Epic.
Twitter
I'll stop when they stop, right? Like I'll do it. You know, if they stop making shit, I'll stop calling them out for their shit. All right. But anyway, that is coming up towards the end of the show. Right on time, like every week. I don't understand how we always, apart from that one time when we went over 2 hours, I don't understand how we always seem to just end at 1 hour 40. I don't get it.
It's because we are professionals.
That must be it. That must be it. We are just professional timekeepers.
To be fair, I say that every time I talk to someone about the podcast and they're like, who's the guy that you're on it with? I'm always like, you are very good at chairing and
Excuse me? Like, it's my podcast. Like, who's that guy you're on a podcast with?
No, I mean, so when I'm talking to you, like, real life friends, and I'm like, I'm on a podcast and I'm with this guy, and he's actually really good at, like, because you're good at keeping us on track. You're good at timing the conversations out so that they don't go on too much. As much as I try and meander as much as humanly possible.
See this? I call you a human being one time, and now you're coming out with all these compliments. You know what I mean? I literally just
let's just rebrand and start being nice to each other.
Oh no, it's not that. That sounds like the worst kind of podcast.
I get too much of it in my Twitch chat, just everyone being mean to me.
I like it. I like the banter.
To be fair, I do like it. I think
we're British. We like the banter. It's fine. Be mean to us. It's fine. You know, just not too mean because then we'll ban you. Anyway, guys, if you have watched all the way to the end of the podcast, as always, thank you so much for sticking around. I enjoy making this every week. Thank you for watching. Leave a like on the video. Comment down below something about the video. I haven't got anything. Just tell me how shit Elliott is or something. I don't know. But we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.